Welcome everyone to the April 4th meeting of the Vernon Select Board. If we could all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do we have any public comment? Hearing none, we will move on to minute approval for March 21st.
On the first page under the minute approval, Mike Ball noted that the word "them" blah blah, and then it said he also felt the word mitigation should be used rather than litigation. Apparently, Carol went back and found out that I did ask if there were, if the noise was too loud about if they would be.
Right. So you unfortunately used the wrong word.
Right. Well,
mitigate.
I don't know. I meant
Right.
litigation.
All right.
So, but I mean, I don't know if can we change that or what we should do. What did it actually say, Carol?
I don't have that with me, but it was, you asked about possible litigation. You asked the gentleman from Velco.
Yeah, if the noise was too loud.
Right.
Yeah.
What if there
Right.
could be possible litigation?
Because what we were talking about in the letter, it said measure and mitigate. That's what was happening at the other site. And that's what we were talking about. So
I know, but I was
That's-
the one that asked about,
I know.
that noise, would there be like a, kind of a noise? And
But you were referring to court litigation.
Right, I was.
Not fixing the problem.
right, yeah. If there was, if somebody,
that's what she said, that's what she meant, that's what it should be.
sorry.
That's
I know, but it was, I know what your intention was.
right. Then we were talking about that. I mean, when you said litigate, it was like, well, she didn't mean litigation. She really should have meant mitigation, because that's what you don't litigate unless they don't mitigate.
I realize that, but
Who's on
what
first?
I say, who's on first? Well, what's on second? But no, I do understand. But the thing is that's what I did say.
Right. So
But anything else, I'm fine with.
There was a question regarding the police contract as well that we talked about.
Oh yeah.
And Sally and I did listen to that again.
Yeah, you guys
I have
listened
the
to
quote.
it, and we were talking about the contract was in the amount of $50, right?
Yes.
But the personnel policy still says it should be
25.
25. Right.
But you did okay it, because you held up the paper when it so be it. Do you remember that?
So be it. I thought the so be it referred to we were going with what was written in the personnel
Oh,
policy.
that's how I took it.
Yeah, me too.
That's not how I took it.
that's how I took it too. And the fact that we had to make the motion the meeting before that until the amount that was in the IBPO would still stay in effect until it went into effect, and that's not until September of 2012.
2012.
Okay. Did you all get the scanned thing that I sent you from Bruce?
I did.
The next day?
Oh, wait. The scanned thing.
Yeah, the 55, and he had changed it to 55.
I don't recall getting that.
I don't either, but I can't definitely say that because I've been so screwed up in the last few days.
I can go up
I
and
s-
print it out.
I got that, but I thought it was
I think you got it.
before the
Mike
21st.
commented on it. No, it was the day after. He came and brought the new
Well, I
one
don't
at
remember that
55.
then. What was that? Another
Yeah.
contract?
He was looking for approval of the 50 for that one in April.
Mhm.
And then he came up Tuesday after the meeting Monday and said, now this is the one we want going forward, and it matches the one that should have been in the IBPO.
It should have been, but it's not.
But it wasn't.
Right, because of the error, the data entry error.
And I spoke with him the other night, and I said, and he says, yeah, I missed it.
So moving forward, I think it's still the board's decision to keep what's in the personnel policy.
Yep.
We've got to
I
toe the line.
absolutely
We can't,
agree.
we have to toe the line on the contract. Because if we started to go and say, well, we're going to make an exception this time. You do that and you're in trouble.
Exactly. So what will that do to you?
Well, I'll just make an adjustment in payroll for one thing.
Okay.
But going forward, it won't do anything. We'll just keep it at that until anything changes in the contract.
Yes, because I even brought that up. It says it doesn't actually start
But
until
they asked me
September
for something else.
2012.
Right.
And so we would have to stay
They
with
screwed
it.
up. And I really thought the so be it referred to us discussing,
Okay, I thought it was.
we're going to keep the personnel policy, or what was written in the personnel policy.
Okay. That's good to know.
And we'll get these other little nuances ironed out next Monday, or next Tuesday. Anything else for the minutes?
Sally mentioned that as far as the second executive session motion, that Mark Snow and Marilyn Sherlin's names were left off.
Yep, that's true.
Yep.
Did you say Mark Snow?
Mark Snow and Mary Lynn Sherlin should have been in the second motion. It was in the second motion, it's just not here. When we made the motion, I included their name. Well, I didn't, and then he added it, I believe, to the motion. The person that seconded, Mike Ball, said he definitely seconded it again.
So, Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Ball?
I move that we accept the minutes from March 21st as corrected.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the minutes of March 21st as corrected. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Sally?
Thank you. I was in today and I should have stopped by it. Did you get a copy of that email that you sent me? Sent us?
Yes, this?
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you.
I'll give it to you.
Okay, thanks. I couldn't print that out for the life of me. I just don't understand it.
I think it's because our computers are old, but you don't have, do you have?
Well, I guess. My
Windows 7?
sister bought me a brand new one. It's quite a big one. Every time something new, technology thing comes out, she buys it for me.
Now, what is
She
this?
does.
That's something that Rebecca brought up today. And the PD wants you to adopt it, to authorize Mary Beth to be able to contract their services out for detail.
Within the
You
town.
mean like a blanket type of thing?
Yeah, this would be their form that they would use, and Mary Beth would sign it, but they want you to, to adopt it first as something that can be used by her.
Approve this format, huh?
Okay, so we all got one?
Is this a right out of the Department of Public Service of the
It
state
looks,
of
it
Vermont?
looks it to me. I'll give one to Karen.
It's gonna get worse.
Would it be better for the PD to come themselves and ask you all the all this stuff on outside detail and...
Well, this is pretty boilerplate. The only thing that concerns me is there's no rate in there.
Right, they left it blank. That's what
What
they
we could
use.
basically do is to write it in.
Mary Beth could come and ask us that, but the officers, you won't be able to.
I agree. But I think Sally should be involved, too. I mean, because, so that you would know what was going on, right? Right, absolutely.
Wow.
Because I don't want to deal with,
What is this?
what's that?
We're paying the sheriff's department for coverage for the house fire?
They had to have immediate help, apparently.
It had to be kept in order because it was under a
Oh,
subsi-
okay.
and
Suspicious.
suspicious.
I'll
And,
help you this time.
Thank you. And I think that,
I'm okay with it.
I think what it ended up being is that we should
Remember I
get,
said that
we should be reimbursed
should be
for
more
that.
than okay. Should be,
I would think that we're going to be reimbursed for it, but we'd have to ask the chief on that.
By whom?
And that would have to see whether or not that the state is going to do that or not.
It's should be investigated, isn't it?
I don't know.
More than a month.
Okay, I've probably asked you this 1,001 times, Sally. I'm sure I have. Who is Ella Young?
She is working for after-school program. And I think that she did, they had a camp out. They had a camp out once a year at the rec where kids stay overnight. And I think she helped during the camp out.
Oh. Because isn't there another one that does that?
There's Allison,
Allison, that's it.
yeah, and Mark Wright.
Yep.
I think they just needed a little extra for that.
Yeah, DPS is a standard, 151 is a standard form.
He gets
What?
3G'd right down here in the cellar, in the basement there.
I thought you were
Just in
taking a
case you
picture,
wanted to
so
know.
I wasn't sure what that was.
No,
You were holding it.
I'm trying to get better reception by holding it up.
Okay.
Oh, having problems? I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I've been trying to be funny.
That's not what that letter is referring to.
Who's that,
I'm
though?
joking.
Oh. Oh. I hope not.
Here you go, Mike. Sally, I have
Been drink small water.
I thought we paid this.
Who they have,
I don't
they
have one.
crossed.
Miller and Smith, the first installment.
I think we paid the first. I'll have to add.
This is from February. I was just going through all of my stuff to make sure
I think
I've
we
given
did, but
you-
why don't you give it to him and just check to be sure? I'm pretty sure.
There's that.
Okay.
We've gotten 2 updates from them yet.
That I sent you? Robert, I spoke? Happened last Sunday. I looked at that.
That's not- Now, in our packets, there was something from somebody who's offering the town an oil bid.
This week, I mean, not last week.
I don't- do you- I've got something here from another company
Okay.
asking to be considered when we put the bid, or put it out to bid. Who gets that?
David does those, so I would get him that. That would be important for him. And it's usually Hank that get him ready to do them.
Okay. Here is the disclosure form.
Okay.
I know what it is, why.
Maybe that's a regular delivery.
No, didn't have 6 months at all.
I had 2
Time I was down there,
Check.
there was
It's
a
gonna come
smell.
out in the wash.
I thought it
I
all
think you
gone.
probably wanted to use up some of it. I don't know. You know, money. Didn't get it ahead of time, but I'm not sure.
Send them off to Bobby. It's just,
Sally, I had
Normal
2
stuff.
checks for overweight permits.
Okay, those go to Sandy.
Those go to, okay,
Then she in turn gives them to me.
all right. Tonight. I'm glad I can't find them. I'll just give them to her tomorrow.
You had them with you?
I thought I did. I've got so many envelopes now.
well, we got another one of those in there, I see.
We're going to talk about that very briefly tonight.
Good. Oh, you asked Sally about the bill,
The bill.
legal bill,
Oh, funding for the
funding for the legal bill.
divvying up of Richard's charges, whether or not that Richard has a bunch of charges that are based on supporting listers, and as far as, can that go under a different fund? Or is it all coming out of it?
So I have a copy of the latest bill.
Okay.
Or this is the original. And there are, the usual, correspondence with me, correspondence regarding the pending litigation. But there's, the rest of it, for the most part, is due to the, transparent.
Okay.
Now.
Yeah, we can take that out of professional services or,
Okay.
yeah.
So I'm just going to give you the original here.
I can have the listers code their piece, that's what we usually do.
Okay, good.
I tell you. I guess.
The river over here,
Yes. Yeah. That's what the fire
I also want to say something about the paper, too, for a few minutes under old and new, if you don't mind.
All right, that one's got 3.
This one has 3. This isn't holding on, Sally.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm trying.
Is that on that big one?
Yeah.
All right. You can just leave it off, Chris, I can figure it out.
All right, I'm
I can
sorry.
put it- That's all right. I don't-
It does have 3. Bobby, did you want to see this?
Not unless there's something.
Yep, sorry.
That's all right. You can switch around.
Sorry, he's been eating a lot of donuts.
Who's been eating a lot of donuts? Oh, I'm not going there.
Michael, see ya.
Oh, I remember, yeah. I remember that. It's like, it went by real fast. We were pounding them down that day. Then again, we were climbing around.
Is this all for that?
Well, my hip is still a little sore.
For that particular warrant, you mean?
No.
No.
Is this all for that night?
Tough.
No, I guess it's not.
No. That was for some of it was for the Traeger trailer training.
Oh,
Say that fast 3 times.
how did that go?
We were just commenting on the fact is that
Besides
we were
donuts?
both sore. It was really good. It was good training. I know I got a lot out of it. Felt a lot more confident. And you're going through a tractor trailer truck that has got cubes of rubberized steel mesh panels. Then these cubes are like 32 by 32, and they're 3 high and 3 or 4 wide, almost the full length of the trailer, and they're interconnected either horizontally or vertically. And in a lot of cases, they're connected through a hole, and there's a plate that goes down over it, and so you're climbing through. And I'm long enough where I had to take my helmet off and then basically squeeze back into the corner and kind of like across my head to get through. And there was one time when I had the pack on, I was going down through the hole, and I locked up between my rib cage and my air bottle, and I could pick my legs completely up and let go, and I'm just
You were just hanging.
just hanging in the hole. But we had a couple of the members' daughters who were explorers, and they turned around and they went through, and they looked like, gerbils in a maze.
Yeah, right.
They're going through so fast, they like blew our times right away. So,
This was probably
I went through
Bigger
that.
one, and
Yeah,
that's
that's
probably
what
what
I
this
That
is.
young lady, and I was resting, and she must have thought I couldn't get through. I could see her lights on her mask. She just folded herself right over and right back.
I
Her just watching.
I had to go through, all of us had to go through a pipe, and it was, 6 to 8 feet long. And I had the pack on, and I tried to go through, and I'm just, with my turnout gear and all the crap I still had in my pockets, I forgot to take that out. And so I got wedged, and Chief came in behind me and tried to stuff me through like Mr. Incredible through the... He's banging into me, trying to push me through it. I'm like, this is not going to work. So, we're
I rested in the tube.
ready to go.
Okay, what do you have, Sally?
Well, actually,
Yeah, you're gonna vote the warrant.
We all done with them?
I think so.
Oh, cool. Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Moore?
I move that we approve warrants. 21 SG, accounts payable, $44,352.66. 22 SG, accounts payable, $5,409.98. 13S payroll, $11,159.27. 14S payroll, $11,848.21.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve warrants 21 SG, accounts payable in the amount of $44,352.66. 22 SG, accounts payable in the amount of $5,409.98. 13S, payroll in the amount of $11,159.27. And 14S, payroll in the amount of $11,848.21. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so I think the thing that I'll bring up is this, first, and ask if you, there's no place for you to sign it as far as adopting it as something you want to use. It's not.
I try to look at it, but I think DPS, like you had said, DPS 151 is a standard form, and all we have to do is basically, it's going to be what we had said before, which is the 25 plus 20.
Which is mandated by the personnel policy currently.
So I can either validate this, or somebody could validate this, and then basically, if that's the case, then,
Are you volunteering?
I can validate this tomorrow and put it out. So I'd make a motion that would have me validate this, send out an email to everybody, and that by email, then Sally can be, can let the police department know that they can use this form, and based on the amounts set forth in the personnel policy.
Second.
Yeah, is it something that should be added to the personal policy, do you think?
No, the thing about it, this is, they will probably be revising this from time to time, and what they're saying is DPS 151 older versions of this form must not be used. So it would basically be to say, as long as they're using the current rate as approved, which will change in I guess September of 2012, when this goes into play, that until that point in time. Now the other thing too is we can always change the personnel policy.
Well, I'm still working on it, but you know what I was thinking?
No, but I meant we can always change this personnel
Oh, of
policy
course.
to amend the rate. So just because the IBPO
Right.
says that, that doesn't mean we can't turn around and change the personnel policy and have that brought up and not change really anything else and just amend the personnel policy effective of a certain date going forward, that would be the same as what the IBPO contract is.
Because that contract is null as of June 30th, 2012, right?
Right.
And then the detail isn't spoken about till September.
September
So
12th.
obviously, they're going to get the correct amount in the next time they do it, which will be before September 12th.
Yeah, I have a feeling what happened was that he was thinking that it was going to be September 2010, but thinking that this was ending 2012 and just
Yeah.
screwed up.
So it's been moved and seconded to allow Mike Ball to validate this form DPS 151, which is a short-term contract for police department enforcement services. And pending successful validation, he will then email the board, and we will approve it going forward with the rates that are currently listed in the personnel policy. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Okay, next is the pay grid update.
Which is what you sent, oh no, the pay grid update,
I couldn't get it to...
not this.
Yeah, that,
Oh.
no, well, that's part of it, but after. That's something a little bit different. Pass that around. It's part of it. But I believe the grid itself, what you wanted to be sure of is that on 7/1/11, there will be no Town of Vernon employee raises as the COLA went down. We remain the same.
Well,
So our grid is the same as last year.
right. And then all of this, the
Yeah.
compensation policy says, is that the town treasurer each year will go to that website validate that, and then the updated grid shall be presented to the Select Board no later than the second meeting in April of each year. So basically, what would happen is that we would take and include it in the minutes, but then annotate on the grid
Which I did.
each year, so that then then we have traceability in history, so that we don't have to redo all of that work we had done in the past.
Yep.
That's all.
And I have that grid updated already with the information that the COLA did not increase.
But that does not take into account the police department.
No, and Mike Ball actually sent me an email about that, so thus this little spreadsheet that I did. And what I understood was, and what is on my original spreadsheet, is that we weren't going to do anything with the PD until the contract was signed. Now we've gone through a bunch of stuff with that, but it is now signed, and I am thinking that these adjustments that were not given to the PD on 7/110 should be given when we do our retroactive after our meeting on Tuesday. I want to just make sure that's in place. And then these officers would be increased retroactively from 7/110. There are 2 officers on here who are new who would not be retro, and that would be Christopher and Matthew. Matthew just started.
I think we need, we took a look at this even some more tonight before I came here, and I think that we need to talk about this a little more than, and basically do this on the second meeting in April, simply because that if you take a look at when some of the people started and the amount of experience that they had, and some of these grades that you had put on here are, I mean, the steps are one step too high.
Well, that's where they were. And that's why when we worked on the salary grid, we did not increase them because they were already higher than some of the...
Right, and they weren't at the step, they were at the pay that was above their step.
Right,
So, and
but we
that's,
didn't reduce those.
we didn't reduce their pay, but they're still at the step. So if you bump up their step, and let's say they go from a step 2 to step 3, and they're still making what a step 3 would make, they don't get a raise. They just get paid for what the step 3 would now be. That's the thing is, I think there's got to be some discussion on this in probably an executive session, and I'm not sure that we should be doing that tonight, but I can give that to everybody. I can put together and just send separately what I had put together and send it out to everybody, so you can take a look at it in your spare time.
So what you're saying is there are officers now who were above their pay grade when we started this, and then we left them there
Yeah.
without reducing their pay grade. And now when it comes time to make the step increase, they're going to step into where they are currently.
This is, it's all about years of experience, when they were hired, and
Do you have that grid there, Bill, Mike?
and this is what we had put together when we were doing the review on people and
Yes.
where they were, and you take a look at the one, the one,
The highlighted one?
yeah. Actually, I think it's not like that. Next one down.
Yep.
Then you have to look at them and think about what the step that they should be going in. You know what I'm saying?
I do, but how dicey is that going to be with the
Yeah.
current contract?
It's not dicey if you say is that the step is not based on what the pay was. all about how much experience a person has, what you set them at the time that you hire them, and then we'd have to go back through and look at the minutes for when that person was hired and what step that they were hired at. And it wasn't the step, it would be.
No, it wasn't a step at that time, it was just an hourly rate.
But
And that's why I'm saying is that if we try to get this done tonight, we're
Yeah.
going to put too much time into it. It'd be better just
Yeah.
to think about it. That I can do is scan those two documents and send it to everybody.
can I look at yours?
Yep.
Because yeah, that was the one I was going to question, too. That's.
I agree.
Kind of, yeah.
So why don't I scan that, basically talk about it, and then
Sally, is that okay?
Yeah.
I think that that's the right thing to do.
Yeah. Sounds good.
'cause otherwise we're going to get mired down.
Okay, and the other thing under me is the return to work policy, which I think Mike probably sent all of you.
I believe I sent it to everyone. Did everybody?
Yeah,
I didn't send it to you. I apologize.
Okay, I have one from Mike B, and these were the ones that.
So,
No, Bobby, do you have a copy of it?
I didn't bring one with me, but I did read it.
That's you.
and does anyone have any questions, or are they comfortable with that?
Well, it still would be recommended to, it could be looked at by, Richard just to take a look at, because make sure he's on board with it.
I was thinking that it was ready to go to him.
Yeah.
I can send this to him tomorrow if that's what the board wants. Will do.
Definitely. Does Sally have a copy?
Yeah, I've got one on the
Okay.
computer. I'm good.
Do you want a motion? Send it up there? Or no, you don't need one, do you?
We're approving it.
Tuesday. Okay.
And I'm all set, but I was hoping I could stay for your next under police department, so I know what's going on in
You
that.
probably should be in the first new old unfinished business, too.
We can take that out of order after the police department.
Okay.
Okay, so the next item on the agenda is the police department, and it's regarding the sergeant's position. I sent you a short request from Mary Beth regarding that, and I believe that Mike and Bobby had spoken to her as well. And I don't know if you want to provide any more detail or how we want to proceed with that.
Well, when I spoke to her, she informed me that she thinks it's time. And her reasons for thinking that is that it's the job that he's doing, so.
Which he's been doing for
Been for
almost
over
a
a year,
year now.
yeah.
And she is satisfied with what he's doing and how he's doing it. So if we take her recommendations, then we probably should just go ahead and make it official.
Yeah. He's been doing a good job, So, I would, Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Ball.
I would move that we, let's take it in two steps, right? That we, the first motion would be that we make Bruce Gold the sergeant from acting sergeant.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to move Bruce Gold from acting sergeant to sergeant. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye. I'll go with the aye.
Oh, okay.
And then to turn around and to, jeepers, it's not in executive session, is it? Because it's a posted amount, we put
We're
it.
going to have it anyway.
Yep. And that it would be a step 6 under grade 9, which would be an increase from 18.45 to 19.10 an hour.
I don't.
He was at 18.
Is that correct, Sally?
Well, it is, but my question would be, that's what we had for him to come up, and we did not do that because of the contract. And my
Right.
question is, shouldn't he be getting that retroactively?
Well, he's
Because that's something that
acting.
was identified before he was even considered.
Yeah, but that's the question
Yeah.
on all of the officers, is in the fact is that we did the raise for everybody else as far as their positions, and that some of them have just been brought on. Some of them, at that time, had only had like a year of experience. So it comes down to, but Bruce is the only one that had been really there for the long haul. And that, everybody else was done 7-1 for the change. And at that same time, we had talked about taking him from $738 a week to $764 a week.
Which is that.
Yeah, what is
$764 a week.
That's the 6 to 7?
That's the
Yeah.
3 to 6. He's at a 3 right now, and he would be
He
moving
was
up to a
getting
6.
step 6, a grade 8, step 6.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that was I'm pretty sure, a grade 7, step 13. Right? A sergeant's
No.
position is a grade 9.
Yeah, he wasn't getting that, he was getting an 8.
Yeah, but he was getting a step 3 amount, close to it, not exactly, it's 5 cents.
No, I'm saying is that when we were talking about this, he was been acting sergeant for about a year. When we were doing this, it was maybe at the time that he got it. Did we make him a grade 9?
We
Well,
had
I
him
would
grade
think
9
that
right
We
here.
did have a grade 9.
Right, grade 9, step
I would
6.
think that you would get paid from the time that you actually achieved the
Six.
goal.
Grade 9,
Well,
step
this was-
6 we had him at.
Yeah, but that would have been a step 3.
No, we were paying him $764.
No, we did not.
We did too.
No, his current rate of pay is 18.45.
That's correct.
Listen, his new rate of pay was 764,
No,
am I
we didn't
correct?
do that.
No?
We held that
No,
off.
we held it because of the IBPO. That's what I was trying to say, that all of the PD were held.
Right, okay.
But it should have been for the 7110.
So he's at a step 3, and at that, and so that he would have
New
been,
rate of pay, I wrote it in.
His
at
grade was going to go
764.
up.
Grade 9, step 6.
Back then,
Right.
but
but he's not getting that.
No.
if we did it the way the IBPO contract had said, he would be at a step 4 right now, effective July 1st. And he'd get back pay for, that can't be right.
It's not it.
Because you'd go from a 3 to a 4 to a 5 and into a 6. That's how it's supposed to be, is that each year you step up. That's what
Right.
the steps
Yeah.
are
Right,
for the
because he was
contract.
right here.
I understand that,
Right
but on
in
that
this here.
spreadsheet, it's already there as
Right.
the steps.
Between here and here.
So what is he? He's higher
was a-
than that.
You may be right, 4.
Well, because we didn't have the grid and all of that, it got really dicey. And we just went on an hourly wage, and then we did that 5-year increment thing. And that's how we came up with a change for him. But we didn't do it because we were waiting for the contract. So he was identified as going up to 1910,
But he didn't.
but he did not.
Right.
So that's my concern, is that that's what was decided, although we were waiting.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was, too,
So
because
in
I have
my
it
mind,
written
should
down,
be
it was his name.
retroactive.
The 1910.
And then if you want to give him
If we
something
do
for a
that,
sergeant.
but then we do that, see, if we do that, that means on July 1st of 2011,
He gets another
he
step.
steps to 7.
Yeah, and that's what I've got on the
Right.
spreadsheet
Yep,
for him, because I
Yeah.
think it was already
thought I was right.
pretty much done in there that way.
No, we were right, we said that, and then I know why we didn't, was because, I mean, he didn't go right up there then, because he was just acting, but that's what we gave him, and that's what I've got written down. It definitely is.
I would think
I
he's
thought it
no
was going
longer
crazy.
acting as of right tonight. So now he should get to 1910 from now on, until he takes his next step.
I think he's right. But we did give him that for 4, but because he was,
Because he was acting.
right, but according to the IBPO contract, say that fast.
Did he get anything
But
when we moved him to
that
acting?
isn't.
No, we didn't, no, he didn't.
The IBPO
He probably did
contract
when you
isn't
moved
in
him to
effect.
acting. Yes, because he got an increase from patrolman. I can look that up. I don't have it with me, but I've got I keep an employee spreadsheet with every change. So yes, he
So
probably
he was
did.
bumped up. Let's forget about the IBPO right now.
Okay,
Let's just say when he was bumped up to acting, he received an increase.
He did. I think from 17 to 1845,
right, I'll tell you just 2 seconds.
something like that.
And now he gets bumped up again because he's no longer acting. He is the
But
sergeant.
he
But the
deserved
question
an
now is you
adjustment.
throw the IBPO in there,
Yeah,
and we have to go back to 710. What amount do we use to get him to the retroactive?
Because in other words, he would have gotten an adjustment, but he didn't because we were waiting. So
well,
that's a,
I thought we just said he got an adjustment from 17 something.
He did, but that was
that was,
before.
yeah, that was
work
for
on the
something,
grid.
that wasn't for his acting
And I can
position or
tell you
anything.
when that was. I can tell you here. when
So
it
what was that for?
That was when
That
you
was to
moved
get
from
him up to where he
patrolman
belonged,
to
right. But I think that we should
So it was
retroactive
bumped.
back to 1910,
Shows that,
and then,
we gotta back up.
Yeah, it's confusing.
It is now, it wasn't.
You know, the thing about it is that,
That's what he gets now.
Right.
the other thing to do is that we don't have to make the decision on the retroactive right now. He's going to get the money no matter what.
Yep.
On the retroactive
Yep.
stuff. What I would suggest is that we put him at the 1910 effectively right now. And so it would be I would move that he's a grade 9, step 6, effective right now. And that we'll think about, because we have to think about everybody else as well, and so we all think about over the next 2 weeks.
Yep.
And then come in and we're ready to make a decision on everybody on the, brain is going to mush.
be the
The
18th.
18th. And then we'll make, some of them are going to be retroactive and some of them are not. That would be a,
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to change the rate of the new sergeant to a grade 9, step 6, $19.10 per hour, effective today. And then we will take a closer look at going back and do the retroactive pay for everyone and make that decision at the next meeting. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we're a little bit off track, but if you could just give us one more second to go out of order and take care of one more item with the treasurer.
So moved.
second.
Sorry.
Moved and seconded to go out of order to the contract for the
Looking at me.
cemetery caretakers. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, this has turned into an interesting situation as well. It's been basically, to summarize what's happened is the current caretakers had their contract extended a while ago, and unfortunately, the whoever was going to do the necessary paperwork and add that to the contract, noting the extension and staple the minutes to it and get it to you, never did that.
Well, actually, I think it even goes down more than that, is that there's a question whether or not that we didn't already extend it the one time, and then, so I'd like to see the minutes as far as...
I know, I can't find them, to tell you the truth, but I'll tell you, if, what I remember is we changed the policy, bid policy, put it out for bid in 2008. And we put, and I had mentioned, well, gee, you know, it would be nice for people that, because it was the listers, I believe, and the auditors, because they have someone that they use for printing. So I said, well, when we get somebody that we like, can we do an extension? So you put a thing in there, something about a 2-year extension. And I said, well, that would be great, because...
No, there's a limitation, you can only extend it one time.
I think we did extend it one time.
We did. But the question is when? I'm thinking it was 2009 because I wasn't on the board then. I was the year previous. But it was 2009, toward the end of the season, it was over. And so I asked if we could extend the contract, and it was okayed.
Which would be
Right.
2010, 2011.
It was 2010, 2011. And so
we're into
November 1st would be the
Yeah.
2011. It goes from April 1 to November 1. So it would go from 2010, April 1 to November of 2011. And that's what we were,
2010.
we were under the impression 2 years would have been 2011.
I think that we said is that we agreed that extend it the one time and not extend it another time. And all I'm saying is that I'd like to see, it's got to be somewhere in the minutes, and that's one of the things that we should be able to resurrect. And,
If not the DVD.
right.
All right,
and
you
take-
told me you had the date when that happened.
No, what I said was, I had the date of October, I believe it was October 10/10, anyway, 2010, where, I don't know if it was
10/10/10?
myself, don't quote me on that, it's either September or October, I'm not sure.
But 10, year 10.
Yes,
Okay.
They
definitely.
must have a contract.
They do, but...
They do, but the thing is that...
Doesn't reflect
It doesn't reflect it, because I remember it was wrong, and I said to Sandy, you did not put the right, proper
No.
date on it. No, I know what it was. What's his name? It was 2 contracts, and the lawn care place signed the wrong one, so she was to send it back to him and have him sign the right one, and that one be filed. Whatever happened after that, I don't know.
Do we have a copy of the
I
contract?
mean, it's not Sandy's fault, it's,
I have
you know what I mean?
a copy of, through November 2010.
Yeah.
That's what I had in my office, and then I went out front to check with Susan, because I was like, wait a minute, I think this was a 2-year contract. So I went out, and I couldn't find it, they had the exact same one I had. And
When
I
was it
like,
signed?
It was signed
original.
prior to
I
that,
didn't remember a
believe.
2-year contract. I remember a 1-year contract with an extension for another year, which made it 2 years.
I thought it was a 1-year contract with an extension for 2 years.
Yeah.
I don't think I would go for a 2-year contract.
Well, that's what the policy said. We could extend it for 2 years.
And I was at the meeting. I remember the discussion about it, I can't tell you when.
We
though,
just,
with my
we need
mind.
to
Yeah,
get it resolved.
but that one
simply.
says, that one there,
Can you-
We're running out of time.
Can you get me a copy of
The contract.
the contract first? You continue to look through the minutes, and you and I will work together to get the DVD,
okay, that sounds
or a
great.
date of the DVD. But as Sally said, and Mike said, we're running out of time here.
I know, yes, because he's supposed to
Yeah,
start
they're good
last
at
week.
that.
And, you know, and they're, you know, right on, every week they do their job. But the 10 minutes, they say something like, you know, that it should be put out to bid, or something, I can't remember, but that's pretty much what that says. But then we said, wait a minute here, that has a contract that says differently. So, you know.
All right, so move forward, that's what you and I will work on that, and you'll get us a copy of that contract. And, I mean, in the meantime, should we contact these people and just say, we're working on this? Can you give us?
I can do that.
What are they gonna, what would they be doing at this time?
Well, they-
Well, I would hate to have them just say, oh, Vernon's not going to renew our contract, let's find another job, and then,
Yeah. What they do this time is they start around the 1st of April. What they do is they go around, they check out the cemeteries, pick up any sticks they can't get into mow. We all know that. It's too wet. But, and they put out the trash cans, that kind of thing.
will that work?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, I'll call him. Or I'll have Mary Lynn. While we're on that same subject, Mary Lynn and I are going to stay on the cemetery committee until, find somebody. So I'll have Mary Lynn call.
Thank you, Sally.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So,
Trina's here.
now we will go into our second half of the interviews. And I think this is a personnel matter.
Yes. Mr. Chairman,
Ms. Howe.
I move that we go into executive session with Katrina Lawley on a personnel matter, the disclosure of which is, at this time, might be detrimental to the town and/or individuals involved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to go into executive session with Katrina Lawley on a personnel matter for which the disclosure of at this time may be detrimental to the town and/or the individuals involved. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye. You have to go, Mario. We're going in executive.
I'm not going to.
Still?
No, this is a new one.
Did you find any?
Okay, we went into executive session at, Carol?
I don't remember. What's that?
I think it was
about
7:32 or 7:31.
Is that late?
Yes, it was, because I was just thinking, well, she's right on time. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
7:32 came out at 7:52, no action taken.
Wow, that was fast.
We are back into new, old, unfinished business. We are up to the inclement weather policy.
Mary Lynn's here, too.
Yeah.
I think she was-
Mary Lynn, I think you're here for the cemetery, I believe? Well, we already discussed that, and I didn't think you were coming.
Well, and the reason why we did was because Sally was here before, and we wanted to talk with her because she had been involved with it.
Okay, then.
Right.
What we're doing, Chris and I are going to work to get the DVD to find out exactly what was said this week, move forward with that. We hope to have a decision by the end of the week.
And I'm going to call you to help. Okay?
So,
I mean, they're ready and willing to go.
we didn't make a motion that was based on the results of what you found, is that then we'd either be saying and issuing and going forward.
Yeah, but I think we should
what
meet.
what we find could be,
Isn't the fact is that we don't, yeah, you're right. It's either going to be, it's okay or it's not okay. If it's not okay, we got to
I think we should
scramble.
make a decision tonight. But that's me. Because we got to do something.
We're making a decision tonight, I'm gonna tell you right out that I think it should go to bid. I know of at least 2 other people that are willing to bid on this.
Really? Because we couldn't get anybody to bid the last time.
Yeah.
But you're not gonna get them if we wait very long.
Right?
Right, and that's the problem with doing it
That's
this time of year
yeah.
anyway, is most people that do that are already have their, plates full. You're right, yeah, if you want to put it to bid, we need to
Well,
send it out now.
what's the board's pleasure? We can put it out to bid tomorrow, if we need to.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, is if we had already made the decision before and you find that out, we don't have to go and jump through all of those hoops. Because if you go through and look at it, and Chris is right, the decision is, it's a moot point, and we just move forward, and then you tell House, and they move with it.
Yeah, you're right,
So-
because putting out the bid's going to put us back 3 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
But what is it gonna, yeah, okay, so then, if we find out differently, do we just put it out to bid? Say-
And we're still behind 3 weeks.
And we're gonna still be
If we
behind.
put that out to bid tomorrow, we could have the bids, we could open them on the 18th.
Right, because it usually says accept any and all, and if you find out something in the meantime, then we're not that far behind.
Can you guys look at it tomorrow and see whether or not you...
I can, and I'm sure, well, in the morning, I've got, I have doctor's appointments and everything, and we must know that I need a babysitter. So,
There's also that thing tomorrow.
and then there's a drill tomorrow.
No, I'm tired of it.
I keep thinking minutes.
Would you do
Minutes
that?
and then the DVD.
And then the DVD.
Where are they?
The DVD will be in the library.
Yeah, and I think there's some here too, but I'm
No,
not sure.
but, no, go do the library.
Yeah, do the library ones.
And it would have been October 18th meeting, I think that's.
That's-
we had.
That's the 2010.
Right.
But then, but in 2009, I came in here too and
Where's-
asked.
Where is the thumb drive with all the files on it? That came from Elaine?
We wouldn't
I have all
that
the
on.
files. There's no thumb drive,
There should be a thumb drive.
There should have been a thumb drive.
unless it's in that bag that I gave you, because I didn't look through anything. I didn't touch anything, didn't look
Because
through
that's
anything.
the turnover was that she was supposed to provide an electronic folder. If you have a thumb drive, it's easy to search on it, and it would basically be to search on cemetery, and you'll find the agenda for basically that it was done on, and you'll find the exact date, and then you'll find, and then there should be the minutes with it on it as well, and then you'll be able to look at the DVD, and it won't take much time at all to find it.
Now, I
But you
hate to
need the
ask this,
USB.
but I don't know what a thumb drive looks like.
It's a USB drive.
Yeah, I don't have one with me, but yeah,
But it might be in that
it goes
bag.
right into the computer.
They're tiny.
Yeah,
You
it's a
can
little
lose them
thing.
in a heartbeat if you're not careful, like
I'm not
me.
sure the 09 meeting date. but
That's what it looks like.
2010 is the
Oh,
18th.
okay. I don't remember.
I know I don't have one, but I'll look through the boxes that I got. I got one box and a plastic thing, so I'll look through them too.
I think we can, the conservation meeting is not until Wednesday, right?
Right.
I think we can make something happen tomorrow and tomorrow evening.
Would you put that on the website as far as minutes?
Yeah. Oh, wait, I don't know how long it goes back. I think
Yeah, I've been-
it goes back to '08, I think.
Yeah, I've been searching '09 one at a time, because I don't remember where it was I came in.
Yeah,
So,
it's been in
but
the fall.
2010, we did find that, and that was October of 2010. That's what I meant by 10-10. I didn't mean 10-10-10-10, whatever. But, yeah,
And there wasn't anything in that one?
well, I haven't found
Oh,
it yet in 2009.
No, 2010.
It just, it doesn't really say anything. Yeah. And I don't mind putting it out to bid right away,
Yeah.
as long as we have it out to bid right away. Because they're normally working now.
Well, in addition to us looking at that, you start to make the bid proposal out. So if we find tomorrow night, because I'm not going to be able to look through DVDs until tomorrow night.
Right. Sandy
Well,
should have that, the bid proposals.
Well, let's make sure we have it, and then one of us can email you or call you and say, put it out to bid for Wednesday morning. And if it's going to go in the paper, that's going to take an additional day as well.
It can't go in the Vernon newspaper, but it's go in the Reformer. And we can post it, you know what I mean?
Flyer.
Down to the,
Yeah, hanging on the store. And
hanging up the store, we can put
Is
it,
that okay?
Yeah, that's fine with me.
yeah, because I want to do it right. I don't want to, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, you know, no problem. But we got to get something done.
All right. While we're waiting for Mike to look through that, I'll give you a brief tax stabilization committee update. The tax stabilization committee did have a meeting this week in which the committee spoke with Mr. Sansucci about moving forward and some of the tasks that we thought would need to happen to move forward. And it was the consensus of everyone in the room. And I don't have that notebook either. Oh, here it is. It was the consensus of everyone in the room that basically before we made any steps moving forward, we needed to get enough information to get a preliminary value of said plan.
So we're going to use Sanssouci again?
Well, Sanssouci is the, I think, obvious choice to do that. He's been in there. And to get the preliminary value, it would be the changes and upgrades that were made to the plant, and then he would need to know, I mean, there's two roads to go down here. A, it gets relicensed, B, it doesn't get relicensed.
But at the same time is that he was going to contact
He is
Roe,
doing that.
Wiscasset, and Haddam Neck. And basically then we have some information from Roe. And then, but to take a look at in payment in lieu of taxes as far as the agreements that had gone on before, and that, to see what that is, because, he would have to evaluate it if it gets relicensed, but if it doesn't get relicensed, that whole thing about value is like by the wayside.
The value, and I'm grasping here, but the value is going to be the pool kept operating in order to cool the rods, because that will still be functional, operational, and property.
Right.
In addition, we're going to start to discuss the dry cask taxation.
Right. But at the same time is that that going through benchmarking it off of what other places in the country have done as far as when a plant has shut down, and to basically go through and pull in all of this operating experience from around the country of past plants that have shut down and how that's been done and what is defendable under law, and then basically come through and he would list out a bunch of different options as far as moving forward and how to approach it.
He did indicate that he is working on the main, I think, Main Yankee, Yankee Row, and one other one, Pilgrim maybe?
No, it would
Seabrook?
be Haddam Neck,
Adam Neck.
which is Connecticut Yankee.
Millstone.
Millstone, no, well, Millstone 1 is that Millstone 2 and 3 are still operating, so that's I don't think it's applicable.
Well, we did bring up the fact that he said he was going to get us this information, and I think he said he was pretty close to mailing that to us, didn't he? But we didn't talk about all of the other plants in the country that have been decommissioned and getting on any kind of information that way. But the short of it is, it's going to cost us money to do this.
We're
We're
going to
tied.
be, if we don't do it, we're going to lose more money than
Yep.
we're ever going to spend on this.
So Carol, can you recall a better rationale for getting the preliminary value of that plant? Or was it just the select board needs to know that we're gonna be spending an awful lot of money here, and are we willing to go down that route?
For what kind of money are we talking?
Well, we just saw his last bill, and that wasn't even for this, that was for TransCanada.
I think
Well,
that
I
once this
don't-
is done,
yeah,
we need to
I
start
don't
putting
think
this
that's that
stuff out
bad.
to bid.
Yep.
That we allow companies to come in, get real comfortable, and then they just can charge what they want. You
Yeah.
start giving them a little bit of competition, and you'll see some of these prices drop.
But as of moving forward with this, we're gonna lay all our eggs in Mr.
I agree with
Sansucci's
what Mike
basket.
said, that you could, the preliminary value, you could find it by, like, Maine Yankee and Row.
Well, that's the option for shutdown.
Right.
And there's also in the fact that the other option is that when you take a look at the other plants that have recently been relicensed and what their communities have done as far as, because it's just like what the dam did. When the dam basically declared that it was new, they did that because they wanted to depreciate the plant over a 40-year life, okay? And that was to basically to make it better for them as far as their rate of return, as far as how they were making their money. And the same thing goes is that when any plant basically gets a new license and gets 20 more years added on, it changes the whole depreciation schedule. It changes how investments can be made. And that's that type of thing is that in looking at what other plants have done after they've been relicensed, is that gives an idea as far as what other people have done to basically for the towns, for the evaluation of their grant list value. But the other thing that's interesting is that a lot of people don't talk about is the fact is that when Yankee Row, when Haddam Neck, when basically in Maine Yankee, is when they did all of those. Maine Yankee may have been on the verge of deregulation, but the other plants, they got deals from their states that we would never see in a deal like that of today. And so it's, when you look at Haddam Neck and you look at Yankee Row and you look at Maine Yankee, you've got to take a look at that and say as well, the circumstances have changed, and how would that play out today?
So why would we stay with Mr. Sansucci, just because he's done it before? Or
Well,
why you
because
wouldn't put it out to
Because we
bid?
Intimately familiar with that plant right now.
And we don't have time to be putting it out to bid and all that right now.
Plus it would be, because of the fact that
What?
his experience level in what he's already done and looked at, and as far as the past negotiations and whatnot, for him to take a look at the plant and then say is, okay, it's got 20 more years, okay? Is that, with that 20 years, what does that bring? This is not like a total reevaluation. This should just be a shift. This should just be basically like a step change as far as the value of the plant. And that's the reason why I said it's based on his past experience of other plants that have gotten relicensed. How did they do it, and was it simply just a step change? Because in reality, how many changes have been made since the plant was last evaluated by Skip?
I don't know when the last evaluation was.
It wasn't that long
It-
ago.
What, for this plant?
Yeah.
It was 2 years ago, right?
No, stabilization, when we did.
Was
the
it stabilization? Okay, that was what, 4 or 5 years ago then?
6 years ago.
That was the last time? No. We just looked at it. It was at the time of when we were doing EPU.
Okay, yes, but we were in stabilization, so yes, he has done it.
He
has
looked
done
at that to compare, because we actually had started to go
I
in and
don't know,
talk
just
with
same thing with
Entergy
anything else.
about that.
You're putting things
So,
out to bid that, you know.
From that period of time till now, since he
Now, all of a
looked at it
sudden,
for
because it's such
EPU,
a good thing, we don't need to.
from EPU,
I see your point.
No,
Thank
we
you.
need to.
It's for you.
instead of power uprate.
We
Yeah,
need to,
the
but I'm
20%.
just talking about this initial thing.
So when was he in there last?
About 2 years ago.
Yeah, but then for 2008.
So that's why I'm saying, is I don't believe that he's going to have to do a whole lot of work with this. It really comes down to is what
Maybe we need to talk to him.
precedent.
That's the
But
other
that's why
thing.
we have them.
On the
but-
18th, we're going to have a conference call with him. So write these questions down and ask him. And you and I will submit questions to be asked as well. So I think we're all on the same page with, I mean, there are some concerns with not putting it out to bid, but we're all on the same page that the town,
I'm not saying
Needs
Mr.
to move forward
Sansucci
with
can't
this.
do that.
no, I
You
know you're not.
I believe that he probably is the better one for the job. And I, no qualms with that. Just that if,
On 4/18, we'll be having a conference call with him during that meeting.
okay.
We can get clearer
I
clarification.
just feel that
If we
these
got a
companies get
cemetery
pretty
person that knows the
confident.
cemeteries
In the
and does it
area
well.
for another one,
Oh, that's
so-
right. Actually, he's going to be
I
here
think
face to
he'll be-
face.
Yeah.
That's right. He is in the area, and you guys were going to do something with him regarding
Right.
this new switch yard. So it won't be a phone call, it'll be a face to face.
Yeah, I like that better.
That gets added on April 1st of 2012.
Inclement weather policy? Have we all had a chance to review it?
We have, but I still don't like it. Doesn't say anything about the elected officials. And why are we having this all of a sudden? Why can't it be the status quo? It's been fine up until this last little thing that got a misunderstanding that got way out of hand. I think that they've controlled it themselves for years, and I'm sorry, but the elected officials can close their office down without our permission.
That's
Yeah.
right, but the problem is that what I had a conversation with Sally about is the fact is that when we close the office, we are closing the office because there's a safety issue. That means the elected officials can't come in because there is not going to be anybody that's basically going to be clearing the snow for them.
I see. what
And
you're
it's
saying.
not safe. That's
Okay.
why it was changed to staff instead of elected officials and non-elected officials, and basically employees and elected officials, and just say staff, simply because when we close it, there's a safety concern and it's closed. They can't come in. Because if they did come in and somebody got hurt, then it would be like, you shouldn't have been here.
Right, I see.
You
what you're
did
saying.
something that you shouldn't have done.
But I understand that. You're absolutely right.
And
I
it says
totally
in
agree
there
with that.
that the elected
Yeah.
officials can close their offices if they so choose.
Right.
So this is geared more towards us closing the whole building.
Correct.
Not them just closing their office.
That's right.
That I agree with
I
that.
agree with it then.
Because I think that when there's a lot of snow, same reason that they close or send non-essential people home early there, it makes clearing the snow a lot easier when there isn't 100
Right.
cars in the way.
Right.
Yep.
And so that, what it comes down to is that then the police department, because they're emergency services, and the fire department, and the road crews are still basically in service.
Correct.
So,
All right.
So that,
I'll go along with it. I
Yeah,
just,
this is
it's
no
fine.
means
Okay.
trying to dictate.
all right, because I wouldn't, I
But
get
otherwise-
really nervous about that kind of thing.
but otherwise, what would have happened is that you'd say, well, some people are not going to be here, and other people are, but
Yeah.
that would mean Mike would have to come in no matter what.
Yep, I get you.
Right.
Got you now.
Does that include the library? You're going to close the
Yeah,
building, or
I-
are you closing the town offices?
It's,
I mean,
my understanding, and it may have to be clarified with the library, but my understanding would be is Mike's not going to be here, and the library does not provide snow clearing. And so
So, yes.
the walkway
Yes, it
would
would
be
have
not
to.
sanded or cleared,
I believe they
and it would be
close
slippery,
when the
and
schools close.
Oh, yeah.
so it would literally be, and that's part of the whole decision-making process would be, is that they look at it. And it's not like we're going to be closing the town offices a whole lot. It would really have to be a reason why we're closing it. So, and the only other thing would be whether or not that this needs to go to Richard, or we basically just say is, something, this is, simple enough. We just say we like it and put it online.
I think it was fairly simple.
Yeah, I agree.
Too. don't charge another more bill.
So, Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Ball.
I move that we approve the inclement weather policy as presented, and it would be put onto the correct paper, and then we would come in and sign after it was ready to be signed.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the inclement weather policy as presented, put it on our town letterhead, and once it's been prepared, all the members would come in and sign. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Town foyer project,
Job descriptions.
job descriptions, evaluations. We still have a number of concerns about job descriptions, and I don't want to get into this tonight, but I think that I should get in touch with Sally and with the other people, and we schedule a work session to get these job descriptions resolved. On
Are
top,
there more than?
there's like 4 or 5.
Oh, okay.
On top of that, we didn't do any evaluations last year for the supervisors. I remember we did them the year before, and I think we would need to have accurate job descriptions to get that done, and then we can move forward with performing those evaluations. And I think the supervisors would then need to go ahead and evaluate their employees. So we'll start the talks in motion with the department heads about that as well. And that's all I put that on there for.
Okay. Sounds good.
Foyer project.
I had an idea about this foyer project. What I would like to do, if the board would allow me to do it, is to simply do what the fire department has done and get with Mike Coughlin, take the plans that we have, put together a bid specification, and then bring it here, go over it with the board, see if it would meet what we need, and then we could put it out to bid ourselves if everybody agreed on it. If not, then we can make changes or do whatever we needed to. But I just think that if we did it that way, Mike Coughlin he can oversee this job. It's not that difficult, and I believe that between he and I, we could easily put together the bid, just the same as what the fire department did. Just like the chance to do it, or to try it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I mean, I'd be the only one that was putting a lot of time into it.
I don't know whether or not that, because it's such a public building, and whether or not that we have to have the drawing stamped by an architect. And Coleman has put a fair amount of time into this project. And that, if you were to
And paid.
say is that this is the amount of money, and the whole thing about it is to fix the ramp, right? And if you say, these are the goals, and prioritize the goals, and say, this is where it has to come in under, he ends up getting paid. He's already got
He's already
a lot
got
of
paid.
that.
I don't think you even need him. I think that, I don't think we need him. I don't like to say that, but I don't. But I don't know.
I don't know whether or not that, we'd have to be careful, because next thing you know is we have a lawsuit on our hands. I think that this might be one that you bounce it against Richard to see whether or not we're too far into it with Coleman.
But he's been paid for everything he's done so far. I mean, it's not like, in the middle of a job that he hasn't been
might
paid
be
for.
right.
You
Just
tell him
give it
to-
Okay.
Let Richard just look at it and just.
You know what I'm saying?
The problem is if we used any part of the drawings that he's provided, he's
I understand
basically-
that.
And even if it looked a little bit like what the drawings had said, next thing you know, we're in court, and he would
Yeah.
probably win, and we'd be paying him anyway.
I understand that. I wouldn't.
All right, so moving
Yeah.
forward, I will discuss this with Richard.
Uh-huh.
and then we can make this a topic for the next meeting based on what I hear from Richard.
It's just that, we've already spent a lot of money getting here,
I
you know what
hear
I'm
you,
saying?
but I hear Mike as well. If
Oh, yeah,
that's
obviously, I
like
do
his
too.
copyrighted
Yep.
material, then
I absolutely agree with you.
'Cause
Absolutely agree with him.
If he's,
Yep.
because of the fact that he already put together a lot of this material, by prioritizing what we've got, he could say is, we're gonna do one airlock. We're gonna shift the door, we do one airlock, we don't screw with the glass along the wall towards the town clerk's office. We don't do anything against the library side. All it would be is to shift it to one airlock and the ramp, and we're done. Right? And it takes care of the issue. And, so everybody comes out happy, and we don't have a court case.
I'll run this by Richard tomorrow as well.
He might come back and say, no, do it the way you want. So,
All right, Chris, you had something?
Just that the newspaper, I just wanted to let people know I am going to issue one more paper this fiscal year. June and July, I am not, because there is no money, and it's a bit overspent with what I've bought, and I have not enough paper nor cartridges to go. There was never enough bid
you can always
money.
put one on the website.
I could do that, but I said it'll be no June or July.
Does anybody else have anything?
Just ran out of money, big time. So,
Oh, are you going to talk about the fact, the 18th?
Oh, two things. Today I sent you all a little email regarding the scope of the Finance Committee, or the scope of the
Oh.
Finance Committee moving forward. And I just would like everyone to read that, and, that will be another topic of discussion. The Finance Committee will be in here on the 18th to give a formal presentation about that.
You already have what I had said.
Yes. Yep. Very valid arguments. And if you
Well,
like...
they're not arguments,
No,
it's
no,
clarification.
points. And I can send that to them if you want, or we can just wait for the discussion.
Well, since the other point that you were going to raise is that
The other point is that the next meeting, Mike and I will both be unavailable. So Chris will be running the show with Patty and Bobby. And you've seen it's already going to be a hefty schedule.
I'll move them right along.
Any
No,
other comments?
actually, I will, because I get really irritated with long talking.
No other comments? How about the media? Thank you. All right. I think that's it, everyone. We move to adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you,
We didn't
everyone.
do
I'll
that.
see you in, what?
That one?